Welcome back to AllStarBuzz. Thank you for joining us. Before we start, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us grow. Now, let's begin. You already saw the title, It's Going Down. They really out here this desperate they're dragging Mark Cuban into it. And now they even talking about Stephen A. Smith like they got something new to say. I heard them the other day when they aired one of the clips, and let me tell you, it was all over the place.
Right.
The Democratic field in 2028 could have the party looking for their own version of Donald Trump. Strategists say there's never been a better time for a political outsider to succeed. I guess they mean it like that. And they're throwing names around like billionaire Mark Cuban and sports commentator Stephen A. Smith, who was on the other day. I personally would like to see Ana Navarro and Cha-Cha running. I think Cha-Cha would be a very good vice president, better than Vance. Question: should Democrats?
She was actually born a lapdog, didn't turn into one.
Yeah. That's a good one. Okay, should Democrats consider any and all options?
No. I mean, we have an outsider in the White House right now, and look how well it's going. You know, I mean, it's just admitted here.
He talks too fast. I can't follow him.
Well, he admitted, although the bar is pretty low in terms of who would be qualified to be the president of the United States, he admitted that he is unqualified. So I think we can take that name out of it. And Mark Cuban has also said he's not interested in running for the president of the United States.
So who do you think? You got an idea?
Well, I think that someone that has experience, if we want to talk about meritocracy, let's have maybe a governor who's used to...
Pritzker.
Governor Pritzker,
from
absolutely
Illinois.
fantastic.
I like him.
And get this, they didn't mention Pritzker at all before his appearance on The View. Not once. He pulls up on the show a few days back, and suddenly everyone acting like they've been tight forever. Now they out here talking about how they got so much in common. Man, come on.
I happen to like Gavin Newsom. I do think, I like Fetterman. I do think that Bashir is great. I think if you look at Hakeem Jeffries, you know, I like Hakeem. I think there is a field. There are a huge field of people with experience.
Amy Klobuchar, Gretchen Whitmer is there. Look,
all this fake love and over-the-top flattery, it's wild. People just switch up too fast. It's exhausting watching folks bend over backward just to look good for somebody else. And that's literally the only other time they ever did something like that. She probably gonna end up naming Hakeem Jeffries, again, no surprise there. Honestly, she talks about him way more than she ever mentions her own husband. Like, what's really going on there? She keeps going on and on about people with experience. But let me put you on real quick if you constantly have to list off name after name after name, acting like there's a whole squad of leaders out there just waiting to rise up for the Democratic Party, then guess what? That actually proves the opposite. That just shows there ain't a real solid leader right now. Not one. Like it's been said before, and I'm pretty sure Alyssa even said it too, everybody's all over the place. Nobody's actually locking in and supporting each other. It's straight up disorganized.
Whitmer is there. Look,
Gretchen would be great.
We've seen the past 10 years how women do as presidential candidates.
Well, but we're going to have to keep on trying until we get there.
If we keep saying the country's not ready, you never see when the country's ready. So you don't start off by saying they'll never do this. Because
I'm not saying they'll never do it. I'm saying it's not looking too good.
I need an outsider as president. I've asked Mark Cuban many times, and he always assures me he will never run. But I think somebody with huge business experience, running corporations, managing people, and someone like him who's done tremendous charitable work, what he's done for like lowering prescription drug costs and making people get access, that's important. I actually think it could be very powerful. Our politics tend to be very stagnant, and people lose focus often of big ideas. And that was something I was really struck with this past election. I didn't feel like either side was running to really change and reshape and make things better and deliver more. So I don't mind the idea of someone from the outside.
I think Democrats are, the reason we're having these conversations is because I think Democrats are desperate for a clear leader. Obviously, the Republicans have dear leader. Democrats want to know who their leader is, and there is no clear leader now. There's a lot of different leaders, but not a clear voice that speaks on behalf of Democrats. Stephen A.
And say what you want about Trump and his crew, but when it comes to them, they show loyalty. They stick with each other. When it really matters, they move as one. And we saw that loud and clear at his last speech. It was packed. It was loud and the support was strong. But the Democratic Party? Man, it's like every person for themselves out there. You don't see that same unity. When I watch what's going on, I expect to see people standing together, but it's never like that. It's rare to even hear from some of the Democrats at a lunch they're throwing shade at Trump. That's the only time most of them even pop up, like for real. That's the only reason The View even stays relevant right now. They keep using Trump's name to keep their views up. That's the only thing giving them traction. But besides that, it's dead out here. Just take Trump out the conversation and suddenly it's like the whole party goes silent. No buzz, no movement, no real leadership out front doing anything major. I'm over here grinning because this whole thing is just straight up hilarious. They sit around all day trying to trash Trump talking wild, throwing shade at everyone who supports him. Always saying stuff like, Trump got nothing going on, or he's out here messing everything up, or he doesn't know what he's doing, blah blah blah. But when it really comes down to it, they got nothing to offer in return. The moment the spotlight's on them, they got no plans, no vision, no ideas for change.
But not a clear voice that speaks on behalf of Democrats. Stephen A. Smith, I'm sorry, the only person I've heard discuss Stephen A. Smith as a possible candidate is Stephen A. Smith, who likes to do it by referring to himself in the third person, which I find is a little weird. Mark Cuban, I actually just did an event with him in front of Democratic leaders and Democratic donors. Mark Cuban wants to be part of the solution. He considers himself an informed and concerned citizen.
I have bad news for you. Late last month, Mark Cuban told a crowd he wasn't interested in the White House in 2028.
I was there. That was the event I did with him.
No, it's not.
And when they finally do talk about their own party, crickets. Nothing to show. They stay arguing with each other because there's no one actually stepping up as the Democratic leader. It's just pure chaos over there. Tell me this ain't funny. I mean, really, don't you find this whole thing just ridiculous? I'm being real with you all right now. How is it that every time the pressure's on, all they can do is talk trash about Trump? It's always about what he did wrong, how he's not qualified, how he was just a businessman, or how he doesn't know how to run a country. They've been on that same loop for years. But where's their actual game plan? And what's even crazier, they're now out here hyping up Mark Cuban. Yeah, Mark Cuban, acting like he's the next big thing. Saying stuff like, oh, he's good with business, he's great on social media. Wait, don't that sound real familiar? Doesn't that sound just like what Trump was when he first came on the scene?
Late last month, Mark Cuban told a crowd he wasn't interested in the White House in 2028.
I was there. That was the event I did with him.
No, it's not going to happen.
Right. Yeah, but what I would say, the good part of someone like Stephen A. Smith is saying I'm not qualified is he's smart enough to know what he doesn't know. And one thing that Donald Trump never did is put anyone smart in front of anyone.
It's wild how they'll bash Trump for the exact same stuff they praise someone else for. It's like, pick a side already. This double standard is too obvious, and honestly, it's getting embarrassing. They just keep throwing the same tired shots while bringing nothing new to the table.
No, he's smart enough to know what he doesn't know. And one thing that Donald Trump never did is put anyone smart in front of anyone. He fired those people. So if you get an outsider in that can get the money they need, the people and following and audience they need, and they know enough to put someone else in there that knows more in those lanes, I'll vote for him.
And I've got to defend Stephen A. Smith here. I don't think that I'm not a Democrat, so I shouldn't even tell you. He knows how to communicate, though, and that is what is missing. There's a reason tens of millions of people. That's not what I'm saying, but tens of millions of people listen to him because he knows how to talk like a human being. Democrats just want to give their stump speeches like it's the 1990s and press conferences with no one there, and they think it's going to beat Donald Trump, and it's not.
I would love a return to window.
Tens of millions of people. That's not what I'm saying, but tens of millions of people listen to him because he knows how to talk like a human being. Democrats just want to give their stump speeches like it's the 1990s and press conferences with no one there, and they think it's going to beat Donald Trump, and it's not.
I would love a return to Windows 98 versus what we are dealing with right now. I would love that.
I'm an AI girl. He out here making moves on social media, handling business, staying in the spotlight, and they keep yelling, he should just stick to business. He needs to stay in his lane. He shouldn't be doing this or that. But hold up, wasn't that the exact same route Kamala took? And that's exactly why folks are starting to catch on. When people like me and other influencers who actually keep it real start calling this stuff out, I'm telling you, more and more people begin to notice what's really going on. And let's talk about Sunny for a sec. The way she's been acting towards Stephen A. Smith, that ain't random. Now, it's because he put her in her place the other day, plain and simple. That's the real reason she got that attitude now. She didn't like hearing the truth, so now she's walking around salty. Sunny never wants to hear anything real. She acts like a grown-up throwing tantrums like a big kid when things don't go her way. I'm telling you, it's that bitter energy. She gets called out, and instead of reflecting, she doubles down with the pettiness. Now Alyssa, she always calling stuff out, and even though I don't always agree with her, I'll admit she does make sense half the time. That's more than you can say about most of them. It's like she's the only one really paying attention to what's actually going down. Sarah Haynes? She'll say something here and there that kind of makes sense, sure, but Alyssa's the one who stays the most consistent. It's like that weird love-hate vibe. They don't know if they want to back her up or shut her down. But either way, she's out here saying what most of them won't. Half the time, she's just talking in circles. But when you really listen close to what they're saying, it's clear. Sunny wants nothing to do with the truth. She's stuck in her own world, straight up in denial. Her whole attitude? Negative. Her vibe? Off. When someone refuses to face facts, refuses to even hear the truth, what kind of outcome do you think you're gonna get? It's always gonna end up ugly. Always. That's just the kind of person she is, negative energy 24/7. And it's not just her. Look around. The Democrats still scrambling to figure out who's even leading their party. You hear Sarah Haynes randomly toss out Pete Buttigieg's name, Sunny shouting Hakeem Jeffries, then somebody else brings up the governor of Illinois. Like what? Are you all just tossing names in the air hoping one sticks? I even heard Jasmine Crockett's name get thrown around, and man, I saw that video of her dancing with her tongue out, acting wild, and I'm like, what is this? This is who's being put forward as leadership. I couldn't believe it. These same folks love saying, this is serious business. We need to get serious about the state of the country. But then you out here goofing off, tongue out like you in some high school TikTok challenge. Come on now. How do you expect people to take you seriously when you don't even act like you take it seriously? It's full-blown hypocrisy. 1 minute they talking about how Trump is childish, how he needs to grow up, how he should be more professional, blah, blah, blah. And the next minute, they're out here making music videos, talking reckless, and not making any real sense. Don't preach responsibility if your own actions scream the complete opposite. Alyssa didn't hold back. She called out Hakeem Jeffries straight up, said he made a post and not a single person was standing behind him. No backup. She said it loud, we need more people stepping up. And she wasn't lying either. You look around and it's obvious. A bunch of Democrats doing their own thing. No unity, no team effort. It's every person for themselves, and it shows. This is the part folks keep missing, the big picture that nobody wants to admit. Ain't nobody coming together, period. It's scattered and messy. You remember what happened with Al Green? He stood up alone by himself. Sunny got mad because the other Democrats didn't back him up, didn't stand or walk with him. That silence spoke volumes. And you all already know what those same people did next. They went right back to bashing Trump and throwing shots at Marjorie Taylor Greene like that's gonna fix anything. They never want to take accountability for their mess. Can't own up to what's really going on in their own circle. And I'm telling you right now, I find it hilarious. For real, it's comedy at this point. Make sure you smash that like button and hit subscribe if you haven't already. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear what you think about this. Also, make sure to hit like and subscribe. Appreciate every one of you. Catch you in the next video.